No, you have to be witty. Nat isn't just a goofball. He's super witty with his humor, which is very, I think, and which is very Fault in Our Stars, which is why he does so well in this movie.
Yeah, he's one of the fastest wits I've ever met in my life.
Congratulations on your fast.
Only his brother.
Let's take another question from here in the theater. Go ahead, Nams.
Hi, I'm Dee. I'm from Alpharetta, and my question's for Shailene and Ansel. So, since you both play characters who are diagnosed with different forms of cancer, has your role changed your point of view on how to treat cancer patients and or helped you understand how it feels to be sick? For example, like cancer perks.
That's a big question. I think, just to preface it, is we are very blessed where we are actors playing people with cancer and don't actually have cancer ourselves. And to cross the territory of being able to empathize with somebody who is going through that situation, I think is not something that I can relate to. I felt like I could empathize with a young girl who is falling in love for the first time, and I could empathize with a young girl who was dealing with different hormonal changes and learning how to navigate this new love and this new loss and everything that it meant to be in love for the first time. But as far as having cancer, that's not something I feel like I can personally speak to, because I haven't personally been through that. And it's so individualized for each individual who's going through their own personal experience.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to answer that, it would be the same way. I've never had cancer before, but you take what would come with cancer in that case, and there is the horrible side, which is the sickness. But for Gus, especially in the beginning, and I don't want to spoil anything. I mean, wait, this last. Yeah, detail. I know, but just in general. In general,
People have cancer in this movie.
Yeah. So
There's some cancer.
So obviously, when you first meet Gus, he is someone who has overcome cancer, and I know that gives people a lot of confidence. So that I wanted to attribute that to Gus's confidence, and then when it does come back, I know that there is a lot of anguish, and he's obviously he's pretty tormented by the fact that he will die and that he won't be able to leave his mark. And someone close, very, very, very close to me has dealt with extreme sickness, and I was able to draw from that person. And it wasn't cancer, but it was a different kind of sickness where people get sometimes very upset and down on themselves when they realize that their time is limited, or if something is going to affect them and in a way that will change the way that they can function. And I drew from that as well. And then, but the beautiful thing, I think, like as Shay said, it is a love story, and it's through the love story that Gus can overcome that anguish.
Yeah, we had all the kids in the support group are kids living with cancer, and we had them on set a lot, like 8 days out of the 30 days that we shot in Pittsburgh, and I think that was really, really important. Those kids have become important to all of us. There's a lot of them have remained friends with all of us, and I think we all saw a lot more about the complexity and richness of a person's life. That living with illness is one identity among many. That they're also 16, that they're also falling in love. That it's one of the things that they're doing, but not the only.
So back to Twitter. Sabrina wants to know: did you all feel emotionally bonded to your characters?
No.
Well, but some actors literally turn it on and turn it off. It's the old acting thing. I'm going to walk in, I'm going to put on these behaviors, and then I'm going to turn it off at the end of the day. But did you all find that, because it was the subject you were dealing with, did you really get to have to become or bond to that character?
I felt bonded to Hazel just simply, like sort of what I just said, of falling in love for the first time and what that feels like, and having sort of the disputes with your parents and the excitement with your parents and whatnot. But emotionally, I've never been one of those actors who feels like at the end of the day, we did leave set many a time with puffy eyes, and we wake up the next day with really puffy cheeks still, just from crying so much. But I never felt like I brought Hazel's story home with me. Maybe because we were so familiar with it that we just sort of were those characters for a while. But none of us seemed to be like the method actors in that way.
One of the funny things for me is, like, I don't think I realized how much, like, I did, I guess, bond to Gus until I saw the movie. And watching him whenever he would get emotional, it'd be like I would get emotional at the same time, like as if it was some sort of weird memory, like as it happened to me, because it did. So that was a very weird moment for me. Like every time a tear rolls down Gus's face in the movie, it's rolling down mine at the same time.
That's what the whole freaking movie is like for me, by the way. If that explains why I cried all the time.
Because you are every character.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah. I'm mostly you. I'm mostly you, Shay, but I guess I'm everyone else.
Let's take another question here in the theater in Atlanta. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Alex Wolf, and I'm from Atlanta.
It's your long-lost sister!
What? My brother is named Alex Wolf. He's sitting right here.
Mine has an E at the end instead of two F's.
You're lying.
I thought you were joking.
Hey, I thought you were joking
His
too.
brother's name is Alex?
Yeah, I think she knows that. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I don't know. Just checking.
And my question is, what is the one question you want to be asked about the movie, and can you answer that question?
Why isn't Sisyphus the hamster in it?
That's for Boone. Why didn't you put Sisyphus the hamster in the movie? Why didn't you have Ben Houghton have a pet hamster he really loved? It's the only thing he can love. I guess it's gotten my fault. It's my fault because I didn't really put Sisyphus the hamster in the book. You did mention Sisyphus the hamster.
That's true.
Yeah, you name dropped him, which I appreciated. Yeah, to me, Sisyphus the hamster was the least important of the Imperial Pushing characters.
Really wanted to Sisyphus the hamster.
I was much more worried about Anna's mom. Like I wanted Sisyphus the hamster to sort of be a distraction that Hazel pretends to care about. What she really cares about, of course, is what happens to Anna's mom, because she's trying to figure out what's going to happen to her own mom. Is her own mom going to be okay after she loses Hazel? And so Sisyphus the hamster was a bit of, like the magic trick where you're doing this, but secretly you're pulling out the rabbit.
Thank you, Alex Wolf.
Well, what does this have to do with the question? We wanted to know what question that they hadn't been asked, they wanted to be asked, and what the answer was. Yours is clearly about Sisyphus the
No,
hamster.
that was mine.
That was yours.
That was mine, and he was giving me a proper
Guys,
answer.
you got any questions that you wish somebody would ask, but nobody asks?
All Sisyphus the hamster for me.
Does he have a sister? Is what you're
What's his home life like?
Does he have a
Yeah.
cold?
What's he like?
Is he allergic to dairy?
What does he like? Yeah.
He is allergic to dairy. He's a lactose intolerant hamster.
Yeah.
But he can tolerate gluten.
Yeah, he's gluten friendly.
So it's a very specific diet. Yeah.
And does he actually have a little rock he pushes up the hill, or is it just the metaphor of the wheel?
It's just the wheel.
It's just the wheel that gets him.
I think you've all been asked every possible question about the movie, which is why we
There you go.
can't
There are
think-
no more questions left, which is why we're talking about a hamster named after, a character in Dante's Inferno. Doesn't matter. Or maybe it does. Maybe in the end it really is all about Sisyphus. All right. What is the? We've got a question from the old Twitterverse there. What is the one thing that you would really like audiences to definitely take away from the movie? Anybody want to throw in? Really walk away with?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know from when I read the book, my first thing about the movie I hope people feel like that when they read the book.
Do you guys feel like that?
Somebody told me after they saw the movie, they said, right after I saw the movie, I called everybody I loved and told them that I loved them. And I think that's really kind of perfect for me, what I got from the book and what I got from the movie.
That's how I felt after I watched Die Hard 4.
Hey,
Not fine.
yeah.
No, not 5, just 4. Yeah, 4.
Five made me feel nothing. Sorry.
Well, before we get into the entire saga of John McClane, let's go up for another question here in the theater. Go ahead, ma'am.
Well, my name is Sydney Main, and I'm from Johns Creek, Georgia. And while I love all of y'all, my question is for Ansel. Do you fear oblivion in real life?
That's a good question. I think that I definitely have learned a lot of lessons actually from playing Gus, and it might just be the fact that when I did play him, I was 19. So, when you're that age, you're still learning a lot of things as I am now, because I'm 20. I'm just learning things all the time. However, yes, I think that I probably still do a little bit, but less than I did before I played Gus. And I think that it's a good lesson to learn, because as Hazel so perfectly put, oblivion is inevitable, and if it's something I'm afraid of, I should just forget about it, because it's going to happen.
Can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Well, we can do things about other things. I'd like to think that Isaac might have said, hey, with great tunes, who needs robot eyes? And on that note, Matt, how about you and your brother go play?
Great transition.
Come on, bring it in. To the Wolf Brothers.